Class, so this last video is going to center on Aztec poetry, and I'm really sad because this is one of the points in the course where I usually do a class exercise, and I enjoy it immensely, even though it's kind of a downer of an experience. Um, but I'm still going to kind of give you the directive to follow if you want to choose to do this thing. Obviously, it's optional, but if you can get to it and get some stuff down on in words and send it to me, I think it'd be fun for you to do and fun for me to read. As long as you don't get in a bad headspace, you'll see why I'm saying that in a minute here. But let's go into the Aztec poetry. So the Aztec word for poet is tlamatini, he who knows something. Among the Aztecs, oratorical skill was prized. I think in all of these kind of state level New World cultures, even non-state level, right? But just the ability to speak and of course poetry is part of that. So the poetry that I cover, though, is really attributed to the time of the disintegration of the empire, and it's all very sad. But there's a challenge to it because a lot of the metaphors and references we don't really understand, don't resonate with us as they would have an Aztec listening to it. So I like us to go on sort of a mirrored kind of journey where we're going to write some poetry, it can be prose, about the end of our society and what that would be like. And that's usually the class exercise. But I don't expect you to just do that, although these days there's plenty of inspiration just outside your door about how to get in that headspace of how to write such a thing. But what I usually do, and I'll give you the opportunity to hear, is I play a song in class. And it's a song called the Dead Flag Blues by a band called Godspeed You Black Emperor. Kind of a, I don't know what you would call it, experimental rock band, I guess. They're from Montreal, and they are anarchists and very anti-capitalist. And they were, a story is that they were going to make a short film or a movie, and that this song was going to be part of the soundtrack. And the spoken word piece at the beginning of this song, their music is usually instrumental, is kind of the opening to the film. And what else can I say about this band? There's like 14 people in it. It's almost orchestral in how big the sound is. I've seen them a couple of times. It's a pretty good show. So you see on the screen the lyrics to or at least the spoken word piece of the song. So listen to those. The song's about 15 minutes long, 10 or 15 minutes long, and this doesn't take up the whole piece. So what you can do is sort of follow along as the spoken word piece is done, and then for the rest of the song, write out your own kind of vision of things. You can see here, they're really talking about the kind of the end of Western neoliberal capitalist garbage. We're on so many drugs with the radio on and the curtains drawn. We're trapped in the belly of this horrible machine, and the machine is bleeding to death. I open my wallet and it's full of blood. Like, this is dark, dark stuff. Yeah, put the song on, listen to that part. Once you hear the last line is, I open up my wallet and it's full of blood, then you can go ahead and write out your piece. Once you've done that, if you choose to do it, go ahead and send it to me. I'd love to see it. Come back to the video, come back to the PowerPoint, and we'll continue on with the Aztec poetry. So the first Aztec poem, Flower and Songs of Sorrow. Nothing but flowers and songs of sorrow I left in Mexico and Tlatelolco, where once we saw warriors and wise men. We know it is true that we must perish, for we are mortal men. You, the giver of life, you have ordained it. We wander here and there in our desolate poverty. We are mortal men. We have seen blood shed and pain, where once we saw beauty and valor. We are crushed to the ground. We lie in ruins. There is nothing but grief and suffering in Mexico and Tlatelolco, where once we saw beauty and valor. Have you grown weary of your servants? Are you angry with your servants, O giver of life? That's one of them. And these would have been sort of oral and, uh, you know, communicated and remembered that way, eventually gotten down on paper. I won't read all these poems too. There's the Fall of Tenochtitlan, and it has references to Tlacotzin. You see there in the third stanza. Look at me knowing poetry terms. That's weird. Tlacotzin was a counselor during the tenure of the last two emperors and was captured and later tortured. So there's a reference to him, and I just wanted to, again, like the metaphors and the allusions and the references, you're not going to get all of them, but I did a little digging there for you for that one. This last one, broken spears lie in the roads. We have torn our hair out in grief. The houses are roofless now, and their walls are red with blood. I mean, the stuff is really kind of evocative. So again, how much you delve into this stuff in the exercise that I put before you, please preserve your mental well-being above all else, and don't ruin your day, don't ruin your week, don't get any like a drop of hopelessness because of this stuff. But if you think you can withstand it, go ahead and wade into it a bit. All right, that concludes our Aztec material. I will see you soon in the next set of videos.